He's been away for a while. He's moved over 1,000 miles from home. Now, in the sunny state of Florida, a man rises from the shadows to bring you a higher class of movie reviews. His name is Andrew Cavanaugh, and this is Cavanaugh's Corner.
Good evening, and welcome to another episode of Cavanaugh's Corner. I am Andrew Cavanaugh. I hope you like my attire for the day. I figured it's appropriate since this is going up on St. Patrick's Day. I figured we'll make it a little more Irish than normal. So welcome back. I appreciate you coming back. Today, I'm actually going to be talking about two things, one of which is my review for 10 Cloverfield Lane, which was a very surprising release. A movie that was basically made in secret. Again, J.J. Abrams at it again. Totally incredible movie. I was very, very glad to see this come out. I was not a gigantic fan of the original Cloverfield when that came out, but I do remember the viral marketing campaign for it very much so. Had a lot of people wondering if it was actually going to be a Godzilla movie. And it ended up being a little close, but it's one of the better of the found footage movies ever made. And this movie was nothing like Cloverfield, but we'll get to that in a minute. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about today is some movie news, some really incredible movie news that was released this week, and I'll talk more about that after our review for Cloverfield. So, 10 Cloverfield Lane, what's my opinion of this movie? I was very, very pleasantly surprised with this movie. I got a real kick out of it. I actually think that this is one of the better movies of the year so far. John Goodman and Mary Elizabeth Winstead in this were incredible. Just a little heads up ahead of time. I'm not going to be able to talk much about the movie. This review is probably going to be pretty brief because I can't tell you anything that occurs during the movie. If you've seen the trailer, you know enough about the film. Mary Elizabeth Winstead gets into a car accident and ends up being taken care of by John Goodman, who is this doomsday prepper type guy. And we really don't know what's going on outside of the bunker that John Goodman, and this other gentleman are down there. We don't know really what's going on outside of it. Obviously, it's not good because John Goodman does not want these people to leave, even chaining them up to the point where they cannot leave. So John Goodman's character in this movie is a very interesting one where you don't know what his intentions are for almost the entire film, and I think he does such a great job. That's one of the greatest strengths of this film, is that he does an amazing job of keeping his character in check, so you don't know what his real intentions are until much later on in the movies. Very interesting stuff. Mary Elizabeth Winstead also, you may know her from Scott Pilgrim, or even as John McClane's daughter in the last two Die Hard movies, even though those movies were not that great. She was actually very good in them. She's great in this. Dan Trachtenberg, the director, first-time full motion picture director, very, very surprised. The guy did a great job. The suspense in this movie is what gets you. It's a very suspenseful movie, almost a mystery kind of, and it really does keep you on the edge of your seat through the whole film. I think that is the movie's strongest quality, is that you don't know really what's going on through most of the film, and that's what keeps you interested, what keeps you going. It also makes you want to wonder what makes the characters tick. So very interesting. I think the fact that you don't know what's going on is what makes it scary. Unlike the first one, where we kind of knew what was going on, had an idea that there's some kind of monster movie. If you're expecting that kind of monster movie from this film, please don't, because you're not going to get it. It's not that kind of movie. Not giving away anything by saying that, but do not go in there hoping for Cloverfield 2. This is not Cloverfield 2. This is a totally different film. And if you go in with no expectations, I think you'll be very, very pleased like I was. The whole fact that the movie was a secret production is mind-blowing to me. That's just incredible how this movie was made with basically no one finding out about it. Just amazing, especially in this day and age where you have the internet and everything else. Just incredible. I think the story itself almost felt like an old episode of The Twilight Zone, if you know what I mean by that. The old classic episodes of The Twilight Zone where you really don't know what's happening until close to the end, and then it's a big shocking reveal. I really love that kind of storytelling. I think Rod Serling himself would be very proud. I think he'd give this movie a standing ovation if he was still alive here today to see it, because it is a very suspenseful film, almost Hitchcockian in its suspense level. And I'm not going to say any more than that. I'm going to kind of keep it at that. Just say that it was a great film. I'm giving it my seal of approval. Definitely gets a great from me on a scale of good, bad, ugly, and great. I have to say it was a great film. You should definitely go see it. It's 10 Cloverfield Lane. John Goodman, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, director Dan Trachtenberg. I think you got a great career ahead of you. Keep it up. Maybe actually do some publicity next time. Just kidding. A secret movie. There was no publicity for it until recently. So, great job, everybody involved. Awesome movie. And hopefully, in a few years, we'll get another one of these Cloverfield stories. I'm getting a kick out of that. So, anyway, on to the next. We're going to get rid of that guy now. He's done. On to the next piece. Some great news came out this week. Steven Spielberg and Harrison Ford are going to be teaming up again for another Indiana Jones film. I was so overjoyed to hear this because I am a very large fan of that franchise. Maybe my most favorite film franchise of all time. It is just a magical kind of film. Definitely an old-fashioned, done in the way of the old 1940s serials, 1950s even. The old serial adventures inspired it quite a lot, and just amazing filmmaking. Obviously, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, not the greatest film ever made. Better than most adventure films that come out these days, but it ventured way too far away from what made the original trilogy what it was. I think it was just too much. I think it was just way too much CGI and over-reliance on that. The story was not very interesting, although I was very glad to see Karen Allen return. I think she was probably the best part of the movie, but overall not the greatest film. I was not very happy with that movie when it came out, nor am I very happy with it now. I went and rewatched it recently, and needless to say, Last Crusade is still my favorite of the Indiana Jones movies. That movie I could watch that thing over and over and over again and never get sick of it. But Harrison's kind of been on a roll lately, so with the latest Star Wars movie, and his role in that was just incredible. He did an amazing job with that. So I'm looking forward to see what he does with the fifth Indy, and I hope, my one hope is that they learn from their lessons from the fourth one and improve this one and make it even better. Maybe, this is probably going to be the last one, but I hope they make it more in the vein of Raiders and Last Crusade than Temple of Doom and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, because needless to say, I like Temple of Doom. Don't get me wrong. I love Temple of Doom. It's an iconic film. It has some problems. It is a very dark movie, and when you go from Raiders to that, the tone shift is just incredible. It is a very hard movie for me to get through, depending on my mood. But I still love the first three movies very much. Like I said, Last Crusade being my favorite. You can't beat Sean Connery. I mean, the scene where him and Harrison are tied up together, and they gotta like move in the chairs, and the whole room's on fire. Just incredible. Probably one of my favorite lines in the history of mankind. is Sean Connery has Indy's lighter and he drops it and the floor's on fire, and only Sean Connery can deliver the line like he did. He looks at it, he goes, "Son, floor's on fire." Yeah. "And the chair." And then they start jumping and jumping. That's my best Sean Connery impression. I can't do any better than that. But yeah, just amazing. Cracks me up every time I watch that movie. Just a great, great movie. And Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is in the same kind of vein, where they got the tone right, but I just think the action is way too goofy, way too over the top. Don't get me wrong, they're all over the top, but that one, I mean, swinging with monkeys, I mean... anyway, so my other section of the show today, besides the review, I went back and I thought of what were my top 10 favorite Harrison Ford performances. Now, not Harrison Ford movies, but Harrison Ford performances that weren't Star Wars or Indiana Jones. Because he's had some good ones. He's had some really good ones. He's had some not so great, especially within the last 10 years or so. Hollywood Homicide, I'm looking at you. What the hell happened with that movie? But anyway, so I thought of 10 movies. These are in no particular order, but I thought of 10 movies that stuck with me, and I still go back and rewatch because I think Harrison is phenomenal in them. And number 10 is Regarding Henry. And Regarding Henry is a kind of a deadly serious drama where Harrison Ford is injured in an accident and has to basically relearn how to walk, talk. He has no memory of who he is, and his family kind of has to get him back, like, on his feet. And it's a very, very hard movie to watch. Mike Nichols is the director of that movie, and it's I had to put it on the list because it's a heartbreaking film. Harrison is always, you're used to seeing him play very strong characters, and in this, he's the total opposite. He's a mess through most of the movie, and his family has to take care of him, and it's not easy to watch, and the ending is very hard to take because it's as real as it gets. It's a pretty real movie, but it's the only Harrison Ford movie, and I actually mean this, the only Harrison Ford movie that I've watched once and never again. I've watched Random Hearts multiple times, and that movie is terrible. And I can't get through Regarding Henry. I've watched it from the beginning to end one time, and that was it. That's all I could get through. But still, his performance in it is unforgettable, and it's because of him that the movie is what it is and why it is such a powerful film. So next on my list, I have Witness. Book. What a name. Book. John Book. I love that name. This is, of course, the movie where Harrison plays a cop that has to protect an eyewitness to a murder, and ends up going undercover with the boy as an Amish man. Again, it's a good movie. It's a really good movie. I think the most interesting part of the movie is that he plays a detective. It's not a detective story. You're kind of going through him. You're kind of seeing everything as it goes on, and Book has to kind of like gain the trust of these Amish people. And in the end, there's a big face-off. It's a very entertaining film, but Harrison Ford's great in it because he's the fish out of water. It's a fish out of water story. And he's very, you can kind of see, like, oh man, like, I gotta go without electricity, no TV. It's very interesting to see him go from this regular, normal, city cop to being an Amish guy. And Viggo Mortensen makes his, I think, his on-screen debut in this, and you can kind of tell, like, right from the moment he shows up, he's gonna have some kind of a career. And thankfully he has. He's another really great actor that's featured in that. But Harrison's performance in it is great, even though it's very understated through most of the film. He just makes for a great character in this. He builds this character from nowhere, and you genuinely care what happens to him and the kid as the movie goes on. So great movie. Also one of the few times you can see Danny Glover as a bad guy. So that's interesting. So stay tuned. Watch that. Definitely check that out. Number 8, I have 6 Days, 7 Nights with Harrison Ford as a pilot who crash lands with Anne Heche, and they have to survive on basically a tropical island in the middle of nowhere. And they have to kind of deal with their surroundings and pirates. And it is a funny movie. I mean, this is a funny friggin' movie. I've seen this movie way more times than I can count, because it's probably been on cable 8 billion times over the past 10 years. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It's actually an interesting love story, too, because Anne Heche and Harrison Ford hate each other. By the end of the movie, they're falling for each other. You know, again, kind of run-of-the-mill kind of romance tropes. But still, great entertainment. Definitely one of those summer movies. Great surroundings, by the way, where they filmed this. Just beautiful landscapes. And Ivan Reitman is the director of this, who also did movies like Ghostbusters. So it is a great piece of entertainment. I just like it because Harrison gets to show off his comedic chops in this. And he's a riot. He is an absolute riot. Best scene in the whole film. Anne Heche thinks she can flag down a 747 that's like 20,000 miles up and shoots off the only flare that they actually have. And Harrison Ford's basically waking up from a drunken stupor and just gives her just the greatest tongue lashing maybe ever put on film. He is awesome in this movie. Just a riot, just absolute riot. Check it out. It's called 6 Days, 7 Nights. Funny enough, another one of these movies on this list that's not on Blu-ray. What the hell? This is a beautiful movie with beautiful landscapes. Should be in high definition. It isn't. What's going on? Disney, get on it. Let's go. Anyway, number 7 on my list is Air Force One, where Harrison Ford gets to be the President of the United States. And man, after watching this movie, you would vote for Harrison Ford. Actually, in this year's presidential elections, I would rather vote for Harrison Ford than anything else. And I'm going to actually suggest you do something here. If you don't feel like voting for any of the candidates, write in Harrison Ford. And I want to see if this guy will win. I would definitely love to see that guy be the President of the United States, especially after watching Air Force One. Chances are you've seen this movie. Harrison Ford is the President. He's on Air Force One, where it's taken over by terrorists. Ridiculous movie. Gary Oldman in it kicks ass as the bad guy. He's incredible. Unbelievable Russian accents. Stupid movie. Very good action. Glenn Close is awesome in it as well. Just blatant action. Wolfgang Petersen's the director, who also did Das Boot and In the Line of Fire. Just awesome director. I don't know what's happened to him recently, but again, great for its time. I don't know if it would be kind of politically incorrect because, after 9/11, airplanes, terrorists, but still, absolutely awesome action movie. You should definitely check it out if you get a chance. Air Force One, awesome film. Harrison, again, just being an action movie badass. Just great movie. Number 6 is obviously a shoo-in, and that's The Fugitive. The Fugitive is probably one of the best mystery action movies ever made, even though you actually kind of know what's going on from the very beginning. There's no real mystery. But in terms of TV shows that have been turned into movies, honestly, this is probably the best one. And even though it ventures away from the TV show in many ways, it is just a fantastic action movie. It's a fantastic drama, and also just a great showcase of acting in every way. Harrison's amazing in it. He gets to show off some really amazing stunt work in this. A lot of the movie is actually him. Kind of incredible, but Harrison just running around like crazy for 2 hours. And Tommy Lee Jones as Sam Gerard, again, he won the Oscar for it. I mean, it's incredible. some lines, just immortal lines in this movie. I didn't kill my wife. I don't care. Like, great. Like, it's awesome. And that was actually written on the spot, which is kind of amazing. Originally, I guess Tommy Lee Jones is going to be going on a tirade for about 2 minutes about how it's his civic duty to bring him in and all that, and they just changed it to "I don't care," which just works. Like, it works so well. Anyway, The Fugitive, perennial classic in my mind. If you haven't seen it, what the hell is wrong with you? You're living under a rock. Go get it. Go buy it. It's probably $10 on Blu-ray. Go buy it. Amazing. Number 5 is Blade Runner. Now, Blade Runner is a movie with a lot of history. I'm not going to go through the whole movie, but basically Harrison Ford's a cop in the near future, actually coming up around the corner. The movie takes place in 2019, and 3 more years we're there. But Blade Runner is an amazing film where Harrison Ford plays Deckard, who is a cop who goes after these robots called replicants who look like human beings, and it's his job to kill them, pretty much, or retire them, as they say in the movie. What makes this movie so interesting is that there's so many versions of it. My preferred version is Ridley Scott's most recent edit of it, which he has deemed the final cut, where they have gone back and improved a lot of the visual effects but have not made it so they are special edition Star Wars special effects where they just don't match the movie. Everything in the movie looks amazing in this final cut. They have also fixed up certain scenes that had actual mistakes in it, and actually used Harrison Ford's son, Ben, to actually do some voiceover work because Harrison was not available. So interesting stuff there, but there have been so many versions of the movie over the years. If you want to see Harrison under duress, watch the original cut, which is, I think, actually currently now on Netflix, the original theatrical cut, where there's this horrible droning voiceover that Harrison was basically forced to record. And it is probably the worst acting Harrison has ever done in his life because he didn't want to record it. Supposedly, he actually recorded the voiceover bad on purpose to actually, tank the movie so they wouldn't use it. And to his surprise, they used it anyway. And the original theatrical cut of Blade Runner is a horrendous nightmare. But it's still a great movie in a strange way. But if you can see it, see the final cut where the ending is correct. The voiceover is gone, but you still get a sense of great storytelling. You still get a sense of great acting by Harrison, who's again giving a very understated performance. But the whole movie is basically you trying to figure out what makes Harrison tick and if he's actually a replicant, not a human being. That's your choice to decide. Watch the movie, find the clues, and make your decision. I know what mine is. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You should see the movie. Go see Blade Runner. Definitely see it. Number 4 on the list is a movie based on a great book called Presumed Innocent. This is another one of my, what I like to refer to as Harrison Ford's short haircut movies. But Harrison in this plays a district attorney who is under investigation for murder. What's great about this movie is Harrison Ford's character is not a good guy. He's cheating on his wife with the woman who ends up getting killed, who ends up dying and getting killed. And the great part of the movie is you don't really know if Harrison Ford did it or not. And I'm not going to give away the ending, but the ending does have a hell of a twist. And I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you should definitely see it. And Harrison again, is the reason why the movie is what it is. If it wasn't him, if he wasn't in the movie, I guarantee it would not be as notable as it is. Because in the end, the movie's actually kind of boring. There's really nothing exciting going on in the movie. The whole movie hinges on, will he be found out, or did he actually not do it? But again, interesting movie. You should definitely see it. Not going to give away the twist ending. Great movie. The next up on my list is Clear and Present Danger. Now, Clear and Present Danger is the second of 2 movies that Harrison played Jack Ryan in, based on the Tom Clancy novels. Now, funny enough, Jack Ryan's been played by a bunch of different actors, but I think, honestly, Harrison's the only one that's done the character justice. Don't get me wrong, I love Hunt for Red October. I think that movie is a great action movie. I think it's actually one of the best submarine movies ever made, if not the best movie taking place in a sub ever made. But for whatever reason, Alec Baldwin just didn't quite nail it in that movie. He does a great job, but he just didn't quite get the character, whereas Harrison in Patriot Games got it right away, and was also able to do action in that movie. Clear and Present Danger is a whole different ball game, where Patriot Games, you know, Jack Ryan is shooting people, and this one here, surprisingly, it's one of these movies that came out in the 90s where the main character actually never holds a gun, never actually shoots anybody the whole movie. And you may be thinking, really? Like, what? But it's true. Go back and watch it. He actually never actually kills anybody in this movie. Very surprising. But it's a great movie. The sequence in which he's stuck in a caravan in Colombia and it's attacked and it's like they're like cut off is honestly, in my opinion, one of the greatest action sequences of all time. It is crazy choreographed. It is just a tense scene. And actually, and scarily accurate. It is supposedly like right on the money, and I mean they researched the point where if they had an armored Suburban and it was hit by an RPG, would the car be able to drive? And funny enough, the answer is yes, depending on certain things. So again, if you get a chance to see this movie, again it's probably, you know, $10 on Blu-ray somewhere if you want to go get it. I think it's also on Netflix right now. Definitely a great movie. Again, a different kind of action movie where it's more about politics than it is, you know, shooting everybody. But still, great movie. Harrison Ford as Jack Ryan in this, you feel for the character, his range of emotions in this. He rides a roller coaster of emotions where he gets to be the action hero, the political figure, and also gets to be a father in this. Whereas the first movie, he's a family man, but it was more based on him trying to save his family. This one here, you can definitely tell that he has something to lose, where you didn't get that in a lot of Hunt for Red October. Whereas this, you know, he's a fallible guy, and also probably one of the better written movies of its time period. Just a phenomenal script that this movie has, and again, you know, Harrison just knocks it out of the park in it, along with everybody else. Really, everybody in this movie does a great job, including Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe is a force to be reckoned with in this. He's the badass character of the film. Definitely check it out. Really great film. Next up on my list is a movie that most of you guys are going to go, why is this on this list? But I love this movie, and I think it's a great romantic comedy. That's Sabrina. And that's a remake of the Humphrey Bogart film, directed by Sidney Pollack. Great movie. I adore this movie. It's probably one of my favorite romantic comedies ever made. I actually enjoy it more than the original with Humphrey Bogart, and I know I'm gonna get killed for this, but I really enjoy it. Harrison Ford falls in love with the chauffeur's daughter again. You know, just run-of-the-mill romantic comedy, but I love the cinematography of this movie. There's something timeless about it. The look of the movie. Everything about it. It's just it's a fabulous film. There's actually quite a few genuine laughs in it, but the only thing that this movie doesn't have going for it is some of the fashion in it is very 90s, right down to the whole sports jacket with t-shirt and jeans look. A lot of people are rocking that in this movie, and again, I still do every now and then, but that's really the only thing that ages the movie. But I love this film, and I know I'm going to get a lot of probably some comments about this, but I think it's one of Harrison Ford's best comedic movies. He again, you know, is basically pitch perfect in it. And you feel for him. You feel for him in this movie. He again, his character goes through the whole range of emotions, where he starts off as a very cold, uncaring person, and by the end of the movie, he ends up being a very kind of loving, charismatic character that you actually care about. So, great movie. Sabrina, Sidney Pollack's the director. Another movie not very easy to find, but if you can find it, definitely buy it. It's a great film, great work of romantic comedy. So I'll give you that. Last on the list, but definitely not least, is my probably favorite Harrison Ford performance, besides his roles in the aforementioned films. And I know, again, I'm probably gonna get royally murdered for this one, but I don't care. I'm gonna tell you anyway. That is What Lies Beneath. What Lies Beneath is I'd say a mystery, horror, suspense movie. It's an amalgamation of a lot of different things. And he is a doctor, and Michelle Pfeiffer is a concert violinist, I think. I'd have to go back and rewatch it. It's been a few years since I've seen it. But basically, Harrison Ford is a very kind of different character in this, to say the least. He is kind of second banana to Michelle Pfeiffer through most of the film. And it's interesting to see him play this part, and I think he even signed up for this movie because of the way his character evolves as the film goes on. Kind of a milquetoast kind of part for him, which is very different for Harrison Ford. But I love watching him in this movie. If you see it for the first time, you don't know where the movie is going. And again, I'm not going to tell you much about the movie because you should see it, and if I tell you about it, it's going to ruin some of the surprises for the movie as the movie goes on. But basically, Michelle Pfeiffer starts to be haunted by a ghost. Who this ghost is in relation to her and her husband, I'm not going to tell you, but as the movie goes on, she kind of slowly figures out that this entity is doing this for a reason to tell her about something. And by the end of the movie, you find out what's going on, and the truth is very shocking, needless to say. And Harrison Ford's character in this is just, it is mind-blowing. Again, not going to tell you much more about it, but his character is definitely nothing like any of the movies I've mentioned beforehand. You should see it. Again, a movie not available on Blu-ray for some apparent reason. Why, I don't know. But again, another just travesty why this movie isn't on Blu-ray. This movie has been compared to Hitchcock films. Robert Zemeckis is the director of What Lies Beneath, and he did amazing movies. All the Back to the Future movies, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Most recently, he's done movies like The Polar Express. So again, a movie director who definitely knows what he's doing, definitely used some very interesting gimmicks, along with some great, actually really interesting CGI work in this before CGI really hit its stride. But amazing. He uses CGI in ways where he can put the camera in places where he normally wouldn't. David Fincher does that a lot too, but it is used to a great strength in this movie, and it never becomes extremely distracting. This movie here, it's done, I think, in great fashion, and the movie is just, I mean, it is a roller coaster ride, and it's actually one of those few movies where the more times you watch it, the more you catch certain things, and it actually makes the movie more entertaining for just that reason. So definitely check out all the movies I've listed. Like I said, between What Lies Beneath, 6 Days, 7 Nights, and I think Regarding Henry, I think those are the only movies that you can't get on this list that are not on Blu-ray yet. But you can get them on DVD, and you might even be able to see most of these on Netflix or Hulu or movie services like that. So definitely look them up. They're all, in my opinion, Harrison's finest hours. And hopefully he'll have many more in the future. Again, thank you for coming by this week. Again, thanks for stopping by Cavanaugh's Corner. And this is Andrew Cavanaugh saying, keep reaching for the stars, and so will I. Thanks again. See you later. Bye-bye.